Welcome to another Freezer Friday video. When I was at the grocery store, I saw that they had buttermilk on for $1.88, and that is a great price. Usually I pay over $4 for one of these liters of buttermilk, so when I saw that they were on for $1.88, I decided to buy 3 of them because I'm going to make some of my favorite recipes, try a few new ones to fill up my freezer. My inventory was starting to get low on some of the containers that I use, so I was at Walmart and I decided to pick some up. So I couldn't find the ones that I normally buy, and then I saw the Rubbermaid take-along, so I figured they just changed the packaging. They are clear with the red lids. Usually they're black with the clear lids, but I said, you know what, they're Rubbermaid. I really like the quality, so I picked up 2 of each. And then I saw these Rubbermaid take-alongs a little bit of a different shape, 2 large squares, so I decided to pick these up too. I don't have any in this shape, and then I saw that they had the mainstays. This is 8 cups. It holds 10 pieces, so 5 lids, 5 containers. Now the mainstays are not as good a quality as the Rubbermaid. I find that the lids break a little bit easier, so you have to be very careful if you are taking them out of the freezer and they're still frozen when you go to open them. Then when I turned around, they had changed the whole department over. I saw that they had my regular ones that I normally buy. So the Rubbermaid take-along meal prep ones, I like these black ones with the clear lids. I usually write on them in Sharpie, so I have certain ones for spaghetti sauce and chili. But I thought it'd be good to try these too, because with the clear, that way I could see if they were pancakes, and I just thought it'd be a little bit easier to, fill up my freezer if I'm baking or if it's pancakes, compared to when I'm using these for chili or any kind of leftovers. So I thought I'd get my tried and true ones, but I thought I'd pick these up too to see how they work, just making it a little bit easier to differentiate between baked goods and then meals. I usually buy buttermilk to make pancakes, and I usually just pick up a liter whenever I want to make it. I've had a couple of recipes over the years, but this is my favorite one. I will link it down below. And I need melted butter, and we don't have a microwave anymore. So what I do to melt the butter is I just put the warming center on, and then I put it on high, and then I just leave the butter on here until it is fully melted. The recipe is pretty straightforward. You mix all of your dry ingredients one bowl, and then you put all of your wet ingredients into the other bowl. Now, whenever you are using buttermilk, make sure to shake it all up so that way all of the thickness isn't at the bottom. So 2 cups goes in, and then I'm just going to add in the butter, and then you're going to take your wet ingredients, add them into the dry ingredients, mix them up. Just make sure all the flour is mixed in from the bottom, but you also don't want to over mix it. So I like to use a spatula just to get all of the flour up from the bottom. I am using my 2 enamel covered cast iron pans. I prefer doing my pancakes in these because the heat is distributed evenly. I did buy an electric griddle from Costco, and I do really like it, but I find my pancakes turn out a lot better whenever I make them in here. I always find the first batch takes a little bit of time to just get the pan just right. I always find the smaller one, they turn out a lot better than the bigger one, but I usually do 4 in one pan and then 2 in the other. So we enjoyed them for dinner, and then I had 9 of them left over, so I put them into this container to put in the freezer. And when I go to reheat them, I just thaw them, and then I put them all on a cookie sheet into a 350-degree oven to heat up, and they stay nice and soft instead of getting hard like they do when you put them in the toaster. So then I am just going to go ahead and put them in here. This is all of my baked goods that I make, and I'm just going to make a little bit of room so that way the pancakes are to the back. I have some blueberry pancakes up on top, but I just wanted to make a fresh batch. And then in my garage freezer I have my inventory, so I just put the square mainstays, and I have 9 pancakes in there. And then after dinner was done, while I was cleaning everything up, I just quickly made another batch. So I finished up a whole liter of the buttermilk, and then I have 2 plates of them here, and then I'm just going to break them down into whatever I think is the right numbers. Usually when we have them for dinner, we have 3 each, but then when we have them for breakfast, it's usually 2 each. So I have 6 in each container here, and then only 5 in this one. So I just put the lids on them here, and then I just wrote them down in my inventory. 2 containers with the 6 and then 1 with the 5. It's okay that they're not even, and then I just put them in front of the other ones. So I made a couple of batches of buttermilk pancakes, and I'm starting to fill up this freezer with all of my buttermilk recipes. For Freezer Friday is to share the realness of using your freezer to pull something out for dinner, or to take advantage of extra time or extra sales that you find and filling it up. So when I was at the grocery store, I saw the buttermilk, $1.88, rock bottom price. I can't remember ever seeing it for that price. Made the pancakes, enjoyed them, did another batch, froze them, took care of 1 liter. So I have 2 more containers left, and my husband's off this week. The snow is melting. We have a lot going on, and I wasn't able to do everything that I wanted. So that is just a reminder, if you see something in the store, whether it be something that is on sale, something that, you know, has been reduced, and you really need to look at the date. So if you are gonna freeze it, get it right in the freezer, and if you're gonna, you know, cook with it, or you have a plan of what you're gonna do with it, just be very mindful of that whenever you buy it. I checked the expiry date on the buttermilk. I knew that it was good till April, so I still have a little bit of time. So I'm gonna do 1 more recipe today. I thought about making waffles, but I'm not gonna do that because I'd rather do it and enjoy them and then freeze some instead of making a great big batch to freeze. Pancakes are more of our favorite, but I would like to have some waffles in the freezer, especially now that fruit is getting a lot tastier. The sales are getting better, so if I can get fresh produce, pair it with something out of the freezer, it's a win-win situation. Yesterday we had a family day planned, so we went to the museum, and then I wasn't planning on stopping at Costco, and then as we were getting closer, I just said to my husband, you know what, it's stupid for us not to stop in because we're already there. So we stopped in, grabbed a few things, and I got to get them broken down and into the freezer. So my plan was to share with you all of these buttermilk recipes, but life happens. A couple of things, you know, came up, switched my plans, and it's okay. I'm gonna get everything done, taken care of, and then I still have some buttermilk to make some more recipes to enjoy and then to freeze. So that will be in another video. So anyways, let's see what I got at Costco. Let's see what I am gonna be making, and we'll finish up this Freezer Friday. We'll start off with Costco. It was mostly just to get eggs, maple syrup, we didn't have a backup, and then some other items. And barbecue season is coming up, and my husband wants burgers. So he picked out these 3rd pound Kirkland ones, 18 of them in here. I don't even know what the price was. It's just always handy to have these in the freezer too, because they make for quick, easy dinners. And then I did pick up the bag of the crispy sweet potato fries. I love these. I think it's over $10 a bag, but it is so worth it. And you can throw them in the air fryer. The instructions are there to do them in the air fryer or the oven. Great, quick, easy dinner between the sweet potato fries and then the hamburger patties. Okay, this is the other items that I got. So the sweet potato fries were $12.99 and the beef burgers were $34.99. And then I get these brioche buns, so these were $8.69 each for 3 packages of 4. I love these because we're a family of 3, sometimes 4 if our daughter comes home. I like to have them broken down into 4s because I find it works the best for us. And I know that 1 package of 4 is for something at Walmart if I go to do a pickup. So I feel like this is a really great deal. Our son was with us, so he picked up the chocolate chunk macadamia. So we were munching on them last night, and I want to get these frozen. And then I didn't have anything out for breakfast, so I got the Aussie Bites. I had planned on getting these the next time I went, but I like to have these in the freezer too, because they're just great to have. Rolled oats, dried apricots, flaxseed, sunflower seeds, honey, coconut, quinoa, chia seeds, and more. So that is everything that I got. So I want to break these down, and these, all I have to do is take them out of the larger packaging, and then we'll add them to our freezer inventory. I will keep one package out because we're actually going to have burgers very quickly. And then I have this recipe for buttermilk oatmeal muffins. It says for quick cooking oats. I don't have quick, but I read the comments and they said that they worked fine because you have to mix the oats and the buttermilk for 15 minutes. So that will help soften them. So I'm going to go ahead with that. I also need to melt a half a cup of butter. And then I had Sally's Baking Addiction, the buttermilk waffles. And then when I looked at it, you need eggs separated, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I went to all recipes, and it said tender and easy buttermilk pancakes, and it says, I love the results this gives while not having to separate the eggs and take the time to whip the egg whites. So I'm just gonna leave this recipe to the side. I'm gonna make it another day, but I will link both of them down below so you can look for yourself. But this is what we're gonna be focusing on. Buttermilk oatmeal muffins. It makes 24 muffins. So I'm going to make 12 muffins and then the 8 of the loaf pan. So that's great. And it uses 2 cups of buttermilk. So while I'm making the oatmeal muffins, I'm going to get all of this ready for the freezer. So I am using my time wisely. So let's get the milk out and let's get the butter melted. Okay, so it is 10:04. I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And then I have my butter on the stovetop. I'm gonna melt it in the saucepan instead of the warming center. So this finished off the large flake oats. So 2 cups and then 2 cups of the buttermilk. So I know there's exactly 2 cups left. So I want to try this recipe, and if I like it, I'm going to try it with blueberries, and that will make another big batch. And then the liter that I have left, I'm going to use it for waffles. So I have a plan for it all. So what I'm going to do right now is take that 15 minutes. I'm going to chop up some nuts. So that's all taken care of, and then get everything out ready to make the muffins. And then I'm also, I need to preheat the oven to 425. So that way I can get everything in there too. So I'm just getting organized and using that 15 minutes wisely instead of sitting down and scrolling on my phone. Okay, I have 9:15 left, so I got out my muffin tin. I don't know if I doubled one up the last time, so I'm missing one. That's okay. I'm just gonna fill it with cooking spray, and then I have my loaf pan ready to go. The butter is almost melted. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it off. So we're gonna put the buttermilk away. That's gonna go in the garbage. I got everything out that I needed. I chopped up the walnuts. I think I'm gonna chop them up a little bit more. And I'm also gonna throw some craisins in because I have a ton of these. So I thought oatmeal, cinnamon, craisins, and some nuts would be a nice combination. Even craisins and some white chocolate chips. I have a ton of them, so we'll see how it turns out, and then I'll experiment a little bit more. But I did want to have some kind of texture in the muffin, so I'm just going to chop these up a little bit more, and then I'm going to go ahead and get these broken down and frozen and add them to my inventory. I'm not going to put the buns in here. I'm going to leave them in the door so that way they won't get squished. So I have 5 of them in here, and that's really what my goal is just to kind of use this for homemade baked items. This freezer is like 27 years old. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, but I'm very thankful to have it, and it's working perfectly now that the colder weather is over. So I'm very thankful to have some extra freezer space, and I'm taking advantage of it to fill it up with some home-baked goods. So to my inventory, I just put 4-pack of burger buns. I'm keeping 1 of them out, and then I have 5 of them out there. So as I take them out, I just stroke them off. I definitely change how I shop and how I freeze things from the colder months into spring and summer, and you will see more of that too. Just marinating meats, buying different meats, using the barbecue, and how can I use the barbecue and my freezer to make dinner a lot simpler on the days that you just want to be outside and not stuck in the kitchen. This recipe says 400 degrees, so I'm just going to leave it at 400 for the whole time. I know Sally's Baking Addiction always says to start off at 425 for 5 minutes and then put it down to 350 for the rest, and you kind of get those big bakery style muffins. But because of the oatmeal and everything, I'm just going to leave it at 400 degrees, exactly how this recipe says. I set the camera up and I want to share with you how I try and do things efficiently, use my time as wisely as possible. So I'm doing all of the dry ingredients, all-purpose flour, baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon. I doubled the cinnamon because I really like it to put it in my baking recipes. And then as I'm using everything, I'm just putting it away. That way I know it's been added to the recipe. It just makes it for an easier cleanup. So it said to mix all of the wet ingredients together. So you're supposed to beat the eggs first. So I beat them into a bowl. And instead of dirtying up another bowl, I just decided I'm just going to add it all into the saucepan where the butter is. Just, you know, saves a little bit for cleanup. And the recipe called for 1 cup of brown sugar, but I decided to use half a cup of brown sugar and then half a cup of honey. I know a lot of content creators I watch when they make a lot of things from scratch, and instead of using sugar, they like to use more like natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup. I probably could have used a cup of maple syrup here too. So I'm just mixing this all in the pot and then putting everything away as I use it, trying to keep everything as clean as possible. And I'm just putting all my dirty dishes in the sink because there's already dirty dishes. And then I'm using my wooden spoon to mix up the wet ingredients with the oatmeal mixture and then just pouring it into the dry ingredients, adding in the walnuts and then also adding in the craisins. I wasn't sure how much to add in, so I just kind of eyeballed it. They were very big and they were left over from Christmas. I probably could have added more. And I know they say for muffins that you shouldn't over mix them, but I was trying to get all of the flour. It was a very thick, heavy batter, and I wanted to make sure all of the flour was worked in, and it was really hard to do. It was definitely a good arm workout. So I'm happy with the way that everything is mixed in. So I'm just going to do a quick cleanup, and then I'm going to grab my pans, do a little bit of cooking spray in the ones that I need, and then just fill them up. And of course, Hunter is supervising, and I'm just going to fill these all up, try and get the muffins in and then see how many mini loaves it will fill up. Now, in the past, I would spend a whole day doing freezer meals, and I know a lot of content creators, they would do like 1, 2, 3 days of freezer cooking and then have all this great big mess to make, like a special day of doing it. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to fit it in to my day. I wanted to make some muffins. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And while the muffins are baking, I'm going to use my time wisely to clean up my kitchen. And that's really all that I'm trying to share with you, is how I can do little things to fill up my freezer and save me a little bit of time in the future. So I didn't get quite the full 8 loaves, but we're going to put them into the oven. We have 18 minutes, so I'm going to try and get everything cleaned up, get the dishwasher and everything emptied and reloaded. I've been taking things out to use them, so I have less to put away, and I love my new LG dishwasher. We got everything cleaned up. A few more crumbs because I emptied out a container. Dishwasher is empty and reloaded, and everything is broken down. I like these reusable Ziplocs for bakery items like this. I should be picking some more up. So I broke down the Costco cookies into packages of 3. And then the Aussie Bites I just broke down into 2 packages. These freeze great. Take them out. They're great for a snack. You're going, out for a hike and all of that. The weather's getting nicer. You pack this, fruit, veggies, some pepperoni sticks or something. Quick, easy lunch or breakfast. 2 cookies left, so I just put them underneath here. And I also updated everything on my freezer inventory. So Aussie Bites, green lid, I have 2 packages, and then the 3-pack of the Costco cookies. So that is all done, and we still have 1 minute and 40 seconds, so I'll be able to put all of this in the freezer, come back, and then the timer will be done. Actually, we should take a look at them. I think they're going to take longer than the 18 minutes, but we'll see. The 18 minutes is up, and I'm going to turn the pans around and just see how they are. They look good, but I'm going to just turn the oven off and let them sit for 5 minutes, and then I'm just going to scroll my phone until the 5 minutes is up. They are out. I put the toothpick in, so I like to leave things in sometimes, just turn the oven off. A few more minutes, I find that it helps. And we are going to have a little taste test after when they cool, and then figure out how I am gonna break them down for the freezer. So we have 6 here. I could break them down into 3 and 3, or I could freeze them all as 6. And same with the muffins. I'll probably freeze them in 3s and then maybe keep 6 of them out. But anyways, I'm anxious to taste them, but I want to let them cool completely. And then we'll have a little coffee and a muffin break this afternoon. And then we'll package them all up, add them to the freezer inventory, and then we are good to go. I cut up the muffin and had a little taste test. I really liked it. I liked having the nuts in there for the texture. I found that I didn't put enough craisins in here, but I am going to make this recipe again and use some blueberries. I think the blueberries would just give it a little bit extra, you know, like the juiciness from the berries and then a little bit more texture in between. But I think these are perfect for breakfast. The 2 good teaspoons of cinnamon was perfect, and then the nuts. And then with the oatmeal and the buttermilk, I really, really am happy with it. So I do want to try it with a little bit more fruit in them. Even maybe a mashed up banana or 2 would be really good. So anyways, I broke them down. So I have 2 containers of the 3 muffins, and then the 6 mini loaves, I just put them 3 and 3. And then the other 5 muffins are in here with the 2 cookies from Costco. It's all about the balance, some homemade stuff and some stuff that's bought in. So we are going to get these packaged up and then update our freezer inventory. Here we go. We have everything in here. So we have the cookies and the hamburger buns in here. And then I have the Aussie bites here. I have the pancakes right here too. And then some muffins and then the loaves. And I really like these clear ones. That way I can see what's in them. So I might use the clear ones for baking and then the black ones for recipes. So that way I can write on the top with Sharpie. And then I have the other things that I made last week. And I still have room. So if I make some waffles and some more muffins, they will be able to fit in here. There is the freezer inventory all updated. So I just squeezed it in here. 3 oatmeal buttermilk muffins, 2 of them, 3 oatmeal buttermilk mini bread, squeeze them in there, and then the Aussie bites with the green lid, I have 2 of them, and then the cookies. So my page is full, and then I have the recipe here. I'm going to make these again with the blueberries to finish off that liter of buttermilk, and then for the other one, I'm going to go ahead and make waffles, but I'm going to try and make them when we eat them and then freeze them. So I don't know if there'll be a freezer Friday next week. I'm not too sure. I'm not going to have one every week, but I think the next one I'll do is making things and then freezing them. I have some wraps that I want to make, some more buttermilk recipes, and anything else that I will be using. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment if you feel comfortable, and I will see you soon with a dinners video that will be up on Sunday.